can read books, you can read papers, but the best thing is to be in the proper place and doing the things you want to do.
Mom.
Yeah.
I think my family is very proud, and also my friend too. So maybe they said I'm very lucky.
I chose to come to Britain mainly because of the prestige and reputation of a British degree.
For several hundred years, students from other countries have come to Britain to study. Today, 1 in 8 of all degree-level students in Britain has come from overseas. In this film, we're going to show you a few of those students and their universities and polytechnics to give you an idea of the kind of life they lead here. There are 46 universities in Britain, plus a large number of polytechnics and colleges which offer courses at pre-degree, first degree and graduate levels. Each of these has its own particular character. Some are large, some are small, some are old, some are very new. Some are in big cities like London, Birmingham and Manchester. Others are on campuses built out in the countryside. Not only are these places all different in size, age and location, they all have their own specializations in terms of courses, although the degrees they offer are all of the same high standard. If you're thinking of coming here, you'll find you have quite a lot of choice, and the chances are that there'll be a place that's right for you. To give you an idea of what our universities and polytechnics are like, we are going to show you 4 places. The University of Edinburgh, one of the oldest in Britain, the University of Warwick, one of the newest, the Polytechnic of Brighton, and Imperial College, which is part of the University of London and one of the world's top places for scientific studies. Let's start in Scotland with Edinburgh. This is a big university in a big city. It's a very ancient one too, going back 400 years, full of character and with a strong sense of tradition. Among Edinburgh's 11,000 students are Salihin Saleh from Malaysia, studying civil engineering, a graduate physics student, Mustafa Erduran from Turkey, and doing fine art, Ken Shoji from Japan.
Well, my main reason for going to Edinburgh was because of the course. It's one of the few British universities that offer a course in fine art. But having said that, I was also very impressed by the university, and I loved the city when I came up here.
Well, Edinburgh is a very, very nice town, and the subject I'm interested in, which is neutron physics. Edinburgh University had some of the most, famous nuclear physicists working here.
It's the reputation, really. When I was doing my A-levels, they talked quite a lot about Edinburgh University being good at civil engineering.
Now, gentlemen, we're going to carry out a test this afternoon.
Tuition for first-degree students consists of lectures, practical work, and small group supervision.
And what I'd like you to do, Mr. Sally, is to take some measurements on these discs, if you'd like to do that now.
Here Salihin is taking part in an experiment to calculate the stresses exerted on the struts which support roof timbers.
Top reading 20.
Okay.
Bottom reading 25.
The teaching methods are different from what we get at home, in the sense that we have to do the work on our own rather than being spoon-fed.
Intro.
As a special project, Salihin has devised a computer program to enable engineers and architects to build with concrete using British structural standards.
Oh, that's good. Yes.
This is the picture of the T-beam.
There's always a problem, in fact. People tend to take the wrong depths, you see, so that's good.
Ken's course gives him the freedom to divide his time between the university and the nearby art college.
The course itself gives you a great deal of flexibility between the practical and the theoretical side, and it gives you an opportunity to choose your strengths and concentrate on the areas of work, whether it's practical or academic.
The complex of science buildings in which Salahin works houses some remarkable facilities. The resources of the physics department are particularly good. That's why the Turkish government was keen for Mustafa to do his doctorate in Britain. His highly specialized work in nuclear energy makes use of advanced technology, available only in the most well-equipped universities in the world. His practical work, for example, is done on this machine, which generates subatomic particles. Using a great mass of electronic equipment, Mustafa is able to compare the results of his experiments with the calculations he has produced on a computer.
Yes, this is yesterday's result.
The next part of the routine clinical examination is to look at the conjunctiva of the eye.
5 miles from the city is the Department of Tropical Veterinary Science. Surprisingly, for a place further north than Moscow, this department is one of the foremost places in the world for studying the tropical diseases which affect cattle.
We press very firmly on the upper eyelid and expose...
This department offers 1-year diplomas in tropical veterinary medicine, which attracts students from many countries. Efrain Benavides is from Colombia.
If you could just pick out the natalensis and bring them up.
At the end of the year, he will return to his country to work as a government veterinary officer.
As a veterinary officer working with the government, we are trying to improve the conditions of the production of these animals.
This laboratory work will be of great practical value to Efrain in South America. Sultan Ismaili is from Oman.
This is a center for students all over the world. They're all coming here simply because the facilities and the people who are teaching have experience in tropical areas.
Walk on, good boy. Walk on, good lad.
In this experiment, Sultan is measuring the energy expended by a heavily laden animal walking on a treadmill. A humane experiment which gives insight into one of the world's oldest technologies. From Edinburgh, let's take a look at some of the students at Warwick. Warwick University is in a pleasant countryside location, quite close to the small town of Stratford-on-Avon, the birthplace of Shakespeare. It's one of Britain's new campus universities, founded in the 1960s. It offers some very imaginative courses, and is one of the best places in Britain for doing business studies, management sciences, and accountancy, courses which attract a great many students from overseas.
We have this idea that we can change the style of production. We can move from a low fixed cost style to a high fixed cost style.
Su Fen Sim is from Hong Kong. She's in her first year at Warwick, studying for a BA in Management Sciences, a subject in which much of the teaching takes the form of seminars.
In university, you've got seminars. In the seminars, students have to talk. And in Hong Kong, it's just the teacher who talk. And you ask questions, you do your own work.
B. Leng So is from Malaysia. Like most overseas students, she's being paid for by her parents. She's in her second year studying accountancy.
And your task now is to decide how many you want to make of each brand, what price you'll fix, and what kind of marketing support in terms of advertising, salesmen, and so on you want to give each brand.
Here the group is taking part in a business game,
coal.
trying to cope with the problems of running an imaginary company.
Now, what sort of thing would they want to buy? Would they want to buy coal or care?
Yes. Do you think it would be a good idea maybe to do a separate survey?
It's a very enjoyable part of the course because really it's as if you're actually taking part in an actual business.
It's a bit like a Rolls-Royce system.
So, it tries to bring your theory and practice together, and it just shows you how various things slot into place.
The Management Science course is typical of the newer courses of study which you can do here, courses which are designed to be of real practical value. The third place we'll show you is near Brighton, a famous seaside town on the south coast, 1 hour's travel from London. It's not a university, but a polytechnic. Perhaps we should explain the difference between the two. Both universities and polytechnics offer degree courses, and you can do research at both. But in a number of ways, the polytechnics are more flexible than the universities. For example, those who don't wish to do a degree course, or who aren't qualified to do one, can do work at a non-degree level, perhaps moving on to a degree course later. One of the best features of Brighton Polytechnic is its computer centre, and many students come here to study computer sciences. Fidel D'Alessandro from Venezuela is studying computer sciences and mathematics. At a polytechnic, as in a university, students enjoy informal contact with the teaching staff, who offer regular guidance and supervision.
The different way of teaching, I find it's much better because they guide you. In the first year, they guide you. They really do.
Are you staying here?
Well, when I was given the grant, I was told, well, you'll have to go somewhere to learn English as well. So it was either America or here, and I prefer to come here because America is, I find it too commercial, it's too sort of too automatic in a sense. There's much more sort of to life here, culture and things like that, which I enjoy.
As in a university, there are opportunities at a polytechnic for first-degree students to do their own research projects, such as this one, which is looking at ways of using computers to store television images. A good example of theory put to practical use by students at Brighton is the set of computer games they have devised as teaching aids for the mentally handicapped. They are working in collaboration with 2 local schools.
Now the idea arose of, making the computer handy for everybody, not only for a certain class of people who've got this computing background. And there are some handicapped people or some people who are disabled in a way that could make use of computer.
This work, though it uses some advanced programming, is done on quite simple computers, which means that these students from Algeria and from India will be able to do similar work back home, using equipment which will be available in their own countries.
The main contribution will be when I go back home, because of this country being technologically more advanced than Venezuela, then I'll be sort of better qualified when I go home to either teach or work at home.
Some of the students you have seen are already graduates. At Imperial College, part of the University of London, almost a third of the students are studying for master's or doctor's degrees, and a very high proportion of them are from overseas. Here, as in all our universities, each student working for a doctorate has a supervisor who gives guidance on his or her research project. The teaching staff at Imperial College includes some very distinguished academics, among whom are a number of Nobel Prize winners. Ruby Tan from Malaysia is a biochemist. She's working to develop enzymes. The principles behind these experiments could be applied in the fight against pollution.
It should stop the nitrite formation.
If it's involved, if that's involved.
Wijida Weerasinghe came to Imperial from Sri Lanka to do research into laser technology. Very few places have facilities for this sort of work. Teruo Okazaki from Japan is a metallurgist, researching into ways of extracting sulfur from molten steel. Teruo is here in London under the sponsorship of the Nippon Steel Corporation. Chin Ho Ching is from the People's Republic of China. Using video, she is conducting experiments into the ways liquids flow. This work has applications in many fields, including that of aerospace.
This is a good angle, so those ripples have died down. Yeah, there we go, there we go, there we go. That's beautiful.
Another mechanical engineer doing research into fluid dynamics is Alfredo Castrillon from Mexico. Here he is recording an experiment by taking a series of photographs which he will later analyze.
I mean, you can get very good education, good equipment to work with, a powerful background, you see, supporting background, and a friendly atmosphere, which is important as well.
Here at Imperial, as in other British universities and polytechnics, there is ample opportunity for students to get together and to meet members of staff.
When I first came here, I thought I might be confronting very different people, but I find people are all the same, and they are very friendly.
The sort of students who are willing to uproot themselves and come all the way over here to fit into a new society, these are very keen, committed students and have such a deep interest in their subject that they fit in with us perfectly.
So it's just a chance in a lifetime to come and do my PhD here.
Study is demanding, of course, and takes up a lot of time. But it shouldn't take up all of it.
In the free time, I usually go around the museums and art galleries and things like that, and it's quite enjoyable because it's quite relaxing after working in the labs.
Your years at university or polytechnic should be an opportunity for broadening your experience, for getting involved in cultural and social activities, and for simply enjoying yourself.
Go! Good! Stop!
Yes!
Two, hey, change your foot. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
As you've seen, if you come to study in Britain, you'll be treated as an adult and given a lot of freedom. But you won't be left to look after yourself. All universities and polytechnics have members of staff who provide counselling and practical assistance for students who might have problems. Wherever you go, your health and welfare will be looked after. In many places, for example, it's usual for overseas students to be found accommodation, at least in their first year, in a place attached to their university or college. Often this is a shared flat. Most people enjoy living together like this. It gives them plenty of opportunity to meet others and make friends.
I've had accommodation on campus for the last 2 years, and it makes it more convenient. It means you can get up slightly later than if you were living off campus. So you can sort of get up about 5 minutes before the lecture and zoom in. It's very nice to be in a small flat, and we have a lot of fun together, and people come and visit us, and you know, we often sort of go into the kitchen, have tea and chat, and sometimes we eat together. It's just a feeling of camaraderie, really.
Yeah, Don, what happened to your diet? Come on, come on. You and your blooming spot, what are you talking about?
We've done the road.
to study in a foreign country is quite a big step to take, particularly if you don't speak the language very well. Many students find it helpful to come to Britain 2 or 3 months before their studies begin in order to improve their English.
Right, begin.
I think you're going to persuade me to do something that I would really regret, because tomorrow I really have to hand in this essay. And
promise you, you will never regret it. Just come on.
In this conversation class, the students are acting out an imaginary situation.
Say in an hour.
That's too much.
Language difficulties may not be the only obstacle for a student from overseas. To get onto a first-degree course at a university or polytechnic here, you need to have passed the examinations in your country, which are the equivalent of British advanced level, and it would be misleading to pretend that that's easy. Because different countries have different examination systems, it sometimes happens that the qualifications that a student has gained overseas may not meet the specific requirements needed for a place here. Where this is so, it's sometimes possible for a student to spend a year doing a special course in preparation for university or polytechnic.
I still remember when we first came here, we got lost because, well, it's a big city. But now, well, we're used to it. We seem to be.
These students are from the state of Sabah in the Malaysian Federation.
It's a nice house.
They are spending a year at a college of further education
Fully equipped.
to improve their English and to bring their qualifications in line with university entrance requirements. If you'd like to go to a university or polytechnic in Britain and you're not sure whether you'll be able to get a place, it's a good idea to contact the British Council in your country, and they will give you advice on the subject. The whole question of making your application and of choosing where to study and the course that's right for you may seem complicated and difficult. It needn't be. If you write to any university or polytechnic for information, they'll send you their literature. In places where there is a British Council office, the staff will be only too pleased to give you help and guidance. Once you've made your decision, if you have a British Tourist Authority office in your country, do get in touch. They will be able to offer you practical advice on how to make the best of your stay in Britain. Think it over. Maybe, like the people in this film, you'd like it here.
That might be quite large, isn't it? Yeah, but that's why I prefer it's further to it. That's why I had the contact sheet on, because it's, then you can pick on the ones you want. Otherwise, you have different small sizes of all of them. It's towards, it's about, it's nice because you can, it's high up, it's not high up, but you can come down and then, slowly when you come out of the village, it's all just out down.